One of the biggest barriers for new crypto investors who might be interested in getting into HEX has been a specific article circulating on the internet for a few years now. The author, who only goes by Ryan, has taken a deep dive into HEX and tries to pick it apart from top to bottom. Even if everything that Ryan points out in this article is false, it almost doesn't matter, as anyone who is looking to get into HEX is going to Google it, and this article is one of the first ones you will see. This article has done more damage to HEX than most people know. I find it interesting that Richard Hart has not done more to dispel the falsehoods in this article, or at the very least agreed to debate Ryan. Let's get into it. The article, titled Richard Hart's HEX Token is a Brilliant Quasi-Ponzi Scam, starts with a scary visual of a very creepy guy at a computer screen. Not exactly the first thing you want to see when researching your next investment. Ryan, who appears scared to list his last name, loves to keep this article relevant with constant updates. The last update was on April 4, 2023. His opening paragraph says that the HEX token should go down in the crypto textbooks as one of the greatest cryptocurrency scams in history due to the amount of capital it has roped in and transferred to its earliest entrants. In his section What is HEX Crypto?, Ryan likes to point out HEX's high interest rate and the HEX website's language about it not being a Ponzi or pyramid scheme as two red flags for anyone looking to get into it. Ryan next tries to blast the comparisons of HEX with traditional CDs that do not lose money, and even dubiously tries to take credit for putting out his article shortly before the entire crypto market started going down in late 2021. He next tries to dispel HEX's audits, saying it's not like PricewaterhouseCoopers came and did an official credible audit on HEX. Ryan then blasts HEX's marketing efforts, saying it's the only cryptocurrency that he's ever heard of to use ads to market in magazines, buses, taxis, physical mail, hold shady airport seminars, and use TV, trying to bring in a whole new barrage of people outside the regular cryptocurrency speculators. He leaves out the fact that these are put out by the community and not some central HEX entity. His next gripe is aimed at the founder, Richard Hart, and he tries to point out some shady business dealings that Hart was involved with prior to starting HEX. He likes to point out that crypto is the wild, wild west, and it's one of the few places where shady people like Richard Hart are allowed to operate. After his attack on Richard Hart, Ryan then takes aim at HEX holders, who he calls the social media shill army. Because this community is passionate about HEX and likes to defend it whenever necessary, this apparently is a bad thing in Ryan's eyes. He calls Hexicans toxic and even goes on to say that the person in charge of the Richard Hart documentary reached out to him. Ryan is no fan of the HEX disclaimers on the website, saying HEX was carefully crafted to avoid the various outdated legal tests of typical pyramid or Ponzi scams. This article is so long, it would take forever to detail out every issue that Ryan has with HEX. I suggest people read it for themselves and make their own determinations. The comment section at the bottom is very interesting, as it contains people thanking Ryan for exposing something they were thinking of investing in, as well as Hexicans vehemently defending both Richard Hart and the HEX crypto. The question is, how much has this article hurt HEX over the last year and a half, and how much damage will it do in the future? At the very least, I would like to see Richard Hart or someone in the HEX community stand up and acknowledge it. Of course, this isn't the only FUD that surrounds HEX, however it is the most visible. Why has it been able to thrive for so long? Let me know what you think, Hexicans.